B2B Marketing Chapter 3, Organizational Buying and Buying Behavior. Overview. Chapter 1 introduced business-to-business marketing, and Chapter 2 established the nature of the many types of participants in business-to-business markets. Successful business-to-business marketing involves understanding how organizations buy and how individuals are likely to behave in the roles of decision makers within the organization. This chapter examines the nature of buying and individual behaviors associated with the buyer's decision process. Organizations buy to satisfy rational needs that result from their desire to be successful in their markets. However, it is individuals within organizations who make the buying decisions. In this chapter, we demonstrate that the need of the organization may be quantifiable, but that behavior in organization has many qualitative elements that influence the buying decision. It is the qualitative elements of decision making that it is in the qualitative elements of decision making that the importance of the customer-supplier relationship becomes critical factor in the success of the marketing effort. The complexity of the business buying process varies. Routine purchases are automatic, repeated, with an almost mechanical approach. More complex needs require greater involvement by a larger number of stakeholders in the organization. We examine the levels of buying complexity and how a marketer's relationship and approach are impacted by this complexity. Coefficient, illustrating the importance of adapting customers' buying behavior. Late 1999 could arguably be the beginning of the end of the dot-com explosion. General Motors Corporation and Ford Motor Company had each started their own online market exchange, and the two long-time rivals were battling to get the upper hand with suppliers. The internet exchanges were supposed to streamline communications, inventory, and logistics management for all major suppliers to the companies. Of course, each exchange was tailored to the specific methods and technologies of its specific creator, General Motors and Ford. Ford had chosen Oracle to develop and supply the software that would run its exchange, while GM had chosen the latecomer Commerce One as its supplier. Within weeks, suppliers that served both companies were complaining that the new exchanges were incompatible with each other and usually incompatible with their own in-house system. Suppliers were threatening the band together and formed their own exchange to develop a common platform of operation. Early in 2000, Morgan Stanley, Dean Witter, MSDW, financial advisors and consultants, proposed a unique solution. By combining the two rival exchanges, the resulting exchange would have tremendous purchasing power. The forecast purchases through the exchanges by Ford and GM combined hovered around $600 billion, making it the largest business-to-business operation. MSDW argued that the combined exchange could strip out millions in costs for both customers and suppliers. An independent exchange could invite additional automotive companies to join. Profits would be generated by the transaction fees the exchange would charge users. There were immediate comparisons to Sabre the reservation system of American Airlines that, as an independent operation, became worth more than the airline. MSDW argued that such an operation could be worth $10 billion in 5 years as a separate company on the stock market. By February 25th, 2000, GM, Ford, Oracle, Commerce One, and the newest member of the team, Daimler Chrysler DC, announced the plan: build the biggest yet industrial web exchange. Industry analysts estimated that a successful common exchange could shave as much as 6% of the cost of building a car. The mood was euphoric. The United States' biggest Rust Belt companies were entering the e-commerce business. Soon, other automotive businesses joined. Toyota would become an exchange participant, but not an investor. Nissan, Peugeot, and Renault joined. Johnson Controls, Delphi Automotive, Visteon, Magna International, Lear, and about 25 other supplier companies soon joined the exchange. Membership was forecast to rocket to more than 30,000 companies. Covisint had its own board of directors comprised of the who's who of automotive executives. Since each automotive manufacturer had previously required its suppliers to conform to its own standard, many suppliers maintained a connection to an internet portal for each company. Covisint set its sights on simplifying this to one common portal exchange for all. It would be simple, really. The auto companies would all use a common system. Suppliers would adopt that system. Efficiency would lead to significant cost savings. Could this really happen between companies known for their intense rivalries? No. Decisions had to be made fast, but the corporate egos involved didn't always make that easy. Selecting a corporate name took 3 months. Oracle, Commerce One, and DC's supplier SAP, all wanted to be the lead supplier for the exchange technology, whichever technology was selected. 2 out of 3 of the US auto companies would have systems throughout their operations become obsolete. Though the technologies were supposed to be able to work together, the final execution, requiring cooperation of all 3 of the technology companies, never quite seemed to be complete. While the executives Covisint might have been euphoric, many of their potential customers were not, for issues would prove to be practically insurmountable. First, industry leaders estimated that over 80% of all purchases by the auto companies involved intellectual capital collaboration and sharing of proprietary content. These were not routine repurchases of nuts and bolts or copy machine paper. Second, Covisint required all Tier 1 suppliers to add their own exchange system to Covisint. This would provide transparency to the supplier supply chain. Suppliers balked. They feared that the auto companies would use this information to justify lower prices. The Tier 1 suppliers coveted the relationship that they had to build their own suppliers. with their own suppliers. Third, the potential cost savings appeared as a very large inducement to proceed with the prospect, so time was of the essence. Suppliers were not willing to wait, as those savings were slipping away. Fourth, and possibly the biggest problem, Covisint required all participants to give up their own systems, the way they buy, and adopt the system that Covisint was developing. By mid-2000, Dana Corporation, who had already set up its own internal e-commerce system with Ariba Incorporated, competitor to Oracle and Commerce One, brought 5 suppliers together to set up their own exchange. Indeed, suppliers were sold on the attractiveness of the efficiencies and cost savings. Also, Volkswagen announced it would not join Covisint, but would instead develop its own exchange. The critical mass that would make Covisint work wasn't coming together.